Hey, good Wednesday morning. Let's get up and going here on 13 Sunrise. We're glad that you're up with us. It is 6 o'clock. It's hump day. And as you see, or maybe don't see, we kind of have a little bit of haze or some fog that's moving into parts of our area. We saw this in downtown Indy a little bit earlier this morning, but now we know it's possibly moving into some other spots. But we're glad you're up with us. I'm Jalea, along with Julia and Matt this morning. Let's get your Wednesday started.
Yeah, glad you're with us. And you might notice it's still a little bit chillier to start your day out there this morning, but we are promised that's not sticking around. In fact, maybe those summer temperatures are back coming up here in a day or two.
I think so. We'll probably get closer to 80 degrees on the way. So if you've been missing the summer heat, I mean, because this feels like perfection in a way, you know, the room temperature. Where
when it's good, it never lasts.
It is. Exactly. It never lasts very long. But to have it in late August, you're kind of thinking, okay, it's a little cool for August, but we'll take it, I guess. You also look like fall out there this morning.
We do, I know.
Yes, that's what
it wasn't planned, by the way.
Don't wear a sweater this morning, ladies. I'll have this off, I'm sure, by 10. It'll be a little warm to wear.
About a 30-degree temperature jump is headed your way later this day. Just in the day itself. Right now, we're starting in the 40s and 50s. Indianapolis still sitting at 54, but Lindsay and I have been looking at the airport observation because new data comes in every 5 minutes, but usually the National Weather Service waits to kind of get an official recording after they look at a couple of numbers. So still 54, but some of the numbers are starting to pop up 52. And if that holds, it'll be the coolest August 27th that we've had since 1968. Now, we technically broken some unofficial records for other cities. Muncie, we've broken a record. I've put a little thermometer next to the ones that have broken a record. So Crawfordsville and Muncie, we are cooler than these records that you see. So when I show you the temperature map this morning, you'll see. But Crawfordsville down to 43. Down to 48 in Muncie. We were at 46 in Delaware County earlier. But it's 50 degrees in Noblesville. Good morning in Lafayette. It is 48 degrees. You see 54 in Indy, but outside of Indianapolis, a mix of 40s and 50s. It's 51 in Carmel and Fishers, 50 in Shelbyville, 47 in Richmond. Farther south, we've got 48 degrees reporting right now in Monroe County. We also have some patchy fog that we're dealing with this morning, so watch for that. But coming up, we're going to let you know about how warm we'll get today and then how warm we'll get for Labor Day weekend. Quiet this morning. Traffic, though. You're a little bit busy, Lindsay.
A little busier, and we're going to continue to keep you updated as long as this ramp is closed because it's a major thoroughfare, a very heavily traveled stretch of roadway, and this brings people into the metro in the mornings. And this ramp is now closed, and it has been since about 4 o'clock this morning due to an overturned semi. So this is the ramp system from I-70 westbound onto 465 southbound. Have an overturned semi tow truck now on scene, but this likely will take quite some time. Very narrow stretch of roadway that they're going to have to work to clear. So this is what it looks like on a map, and just try to demonstrate where this is located. This is the east side of town. Again, this is I-70, and then in the purple here highlighted, that is the ramp system to 465 southbound. I would stick with I-70, take that to Shadeland Avenue, where you can then take that down to US 40 and re-enter 465 southbound. Also have a crash causing some pretty big issues on 65 northbound. This is in the construction zone, but we have that far right travel lane that is blocked that would take you to Morris Street. We've got some very slow traffic coming into the city here at the South Split. So both of those crashes, we will keep you updated on them, alternate routes as well as your delays. Guys?
All right, thanks so much. Well, we now know no injuries happened in a breaking news story we're following out of Brownsburg this morning.
This is a house fire there. Firefighters are still on the scene, but they seem to be wrapping up their investigation there on Ballard Drive, I believe. Yeah, Ballard Drive in Brownsburg. This is here on County Line Road 700 North and 1000 East. That's just west of the Eagle Creek Golf Club. So as we said, good news this morning. No one was hurt in this fire, but we still are learning more information here.
She woke up to glass breaking, and she went to her mom's room, and her mom's room was on fire. And so she got out of the house and called her mom and her brother, and they came home.
So again, everyone was able to get out of this house safely, no injuries, but extensive damage is reported to this home, especially on the roof. Crews say it could be a total loss. Now, we'll of course continue this story, but again, this is a look here at the scene where we know firefighters say they are just wrapping up after getting the hot spots out.
Well, new this morning, we're working to find out what led to a car fire on the city's northeast side.
This happened overnight near 96 and Allisonville Road. So take a look at this. This car just gutted, really. We got calls into our newsroom about fire coming from a Circle K parking lot. When we got there to the scene, that car was on fire. We have reached out to police and firefighters to see if they have any information or even know whose vehicle this is or if there are any injuries. We'll, of course, share any new information as soon as it becomes available. Well, tonight we will learn more about another very important chunk of the 2026 Indianapolis city budget, and it could mean budget cuts for programs meant to curb violence in our city.
Yeah, so the Office of Public Health and Safety is presenting what they will use their part of the budget for to the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee. Anna Chalker is joining us now in studio with a look at this section of the budget. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. But let's start with the overall first, just to get an idea of this. So Mayor Joe Hogsett presented his largest budget yet, $1.7 billion. He did ask most city and county agencies to cut their parts by 4% in response to property tax cuts at the state level. And for the Office of Public Health and Safety, the cut that they've decided on is coming from the Elevate Grant Program. So this is a program that was started to help local organizations and neighborhoods invest in programs to help curb violence. The last years, there were over 50 grants given out, and in previous years, a lot of that money helped fund programs was through the COVID relief dollars, which did run out this year. And in this year's budget package, OPHS says there will be $2 million available for the upcoming grant. And since 2013, OPHS says the city allocated $3 million per year for those Elevate grants, making this a $1 million loss this year. But they do tell us there will be some money left over from last year's budget. It can fall into the upcoming budget. Now, the good news, OPHS says the impacts will not really be shown to the grant recipients we've already have seen picked this year. So that's kind of the good news, but there will be those impacts later on that we've already got to start budgeting for. And a lot of the groups say it's kind of scary to already think about that when that's something you want to think about in the future. So at 6:30, we'll be talking with one group who's already said, hey, we've had cuts at the federal level. This is just another problem that we've got to deal with.
And I'd imagine $1 million is a big chunk of money to be losing, even if you have to look ahead to the next year. Thank you, Anna. Right now, Indiana State Police are looking for a motorcycle rider that they say shot at a car with a baby inside. This is the picture that state troopers want us to share here with you. The person is accused of shooting at a car along northbound I-465 near I-69. This was Thursday night around 6 o'clock, so maybe you were in that area. Troopers say that this motorcyclist got off on the Allisonville Road exit. No one was hurt. That's the good news. But state troopers say if you recognize the person here, maybe the bike or anything that's identifying, they want you to reach out to state police or Crime Stoppers immediately. In just a few hours, the man convicted for a double murder in a Lawrence shooting will learn his sentence. A jury found Malik Shaw guilty of murdering two women, Aaliyah Wortman and London Coleman, in July. The jury deadlocked on a third murder charge in what prosecutors had called a setup, the execution of 27-year-old Spencer Lawson. And depending on today's sentencing, Shaw could spend the rest of his life in prison.
Well, this morning, apparently more tents have been put up at the Fountain Square encampment on Leonard Street.
This is an ongoing story. We've been following this for several weeks now. Neighbors say that they're frustrated and they keep reaching out to us about it. Marina Silva is live in the Fountain Square with the neighborhood there with the latest. And what are you seeing there this morning?
Well, good morning, ladies. There are still people waking up in tents here on Leonard Street. Now, just behind me, you can see tents going all the way down the road. I know it's dark, but it kind of curves over. And yes, there are still more tents here. Now, this is 2 weeks after the city gave the deadline to shut the encampment down. Now, part of that, but they ended up giving an extension. Part of that extension says if you were already here, you could stay, but no new tents could go up. And as neighbors around here say, that's not the case. Local organizations say they're working around the clock to put people into permanent housing, a process that is not done quickly. Pastor David Green says getting the necessary paperwork for everyone is causing some delays.
I think we'll see people beginning to get housed in the next week or so, and then some of those who are more challenging, you know, certainly by the end of September, we should see them all housed as well. Again, it's a process.
13 News also noticed 2 IMPD officers cleaning up debris on Tuesday. When we reached out to IMPD to ask if they forced anyone out, they sent us to OPHS. The Office of Public Health and Safety could not confirm that. Now, Pastor Green is confident they'll get people into housing soon. He says that local churches and organizations have actually raised $200,000 to pay some of these necessary expenses for people. Now, of course, this is a story we're going to continue to follow, and we'll bring you the very latest. Back to you, ladies.
It doesn't seem like this is wrapping up anytime soon, so we will definitely continue to follow this, Marina. Thank you.